Kayleigh, how you doing?
Hey, Patrick.
Yo, you got your magnet?
Dude, I got my magnet. It's in the house. Did you leave this?
I think I left it at my ex's place.
Dude, you ain't never getting that shit, bro.
I know, it's over. All right. Oh, what's up?
2020.
I know. All right, we're live, guys. How y'all doing? Thank you everyone for joining, man. This is such a special day. Nashville is such a special place with such special people. And I'm so glad to kind of be hosting this cool chat with y'all, you guys. And I've had like a personal relationship with everyone, so I'm definitely excited to kind of catch up. It's definitely been a minute. So I'll go down the line and say your names and you guys can kind of introduce yourselves. So, Jim Allard.
I've been designing audio equipment for many, many years on my own consulting company and design company. Doing a lot of work for Eventide right now, working on pedals and cool shit. And also running a studio, it's kind of like a demo studio, and try to get, small bands in here and record, also work on my own music and play. I moved to Nashville about 3 years ago, so I'm still kind of finding guys and hopefully get a group together at some point.
Dude, that's a legit setup for a demo studio.
Yeah, well, I started collecting this stuff when I was like 8 years old, so it just keeps like piling up.
What was your first gear at 8 years old? Like,
it was a Fender Mustang Sunburst, and then I sanded it down when I was 10 because I wanted it to be a different color. So this is total, no brains. What?
We've all been there, man.
Yeah, I know. We've all done that. But I still have my original Strat, which I got when I was 14. So that's a 70s Strat. Bought it new, and so
nice.
Yeah.
James Hathaway.
What's up, Patrick? How you doing, bud?
Chilling.
Well, I do video and audio in a few bands, but I do a lot of video work in Nashville, and just been hanging out in the studio, but also trying to hit a lot of those Mother of All Hangs videos from last year for Summer NAMM. Which I know we got Curt on there. We got Kayleigh and Kyle.
Hey.
Yeah, we got Patrick's band Bad Mothers. So I've been editing a lot of cool videos from that last NAMM.
I feel like I'm on like some of the strongest mushrooms in the world looking at your video.
Yeah, I got ripped into this different dimension when I clicked on the zoom button. I don't know what's going on. I went through this door and I don't know what's happening. I got an RC844 here. It's just crazy.
Curt.
Hey.
Yeah. What's up? You want to like introduce yourself?
Oh wait, did he say Curt?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No worries, bro.
I'm so sorry. I couldn't hear. Hey guys, what's up, man? Yeah, it's Curt here. Curt Chambers. I am in Nashville. Yes, I am a recording artist, vocalist, guitarist, and producer. Go back and forth between working in LA and producing and doing stuff with like Dr. Dre and some film scoring, and then but I also tour and play my own shows. But right now I'm quarantined in my place in Nashville, and I'm just writing music on Zoom and on FaceTime and working out in the house, playing tennis and lifting weights and doing a lot of mushrooms and Tito's, a lot of Tito's, a lot of Tito's, a lot of Tito's and soda water. Yeah.
You say a lot of Cheetos?
A lot of Tito's.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Bro, I just saw you. Well, this was like a minute ago. This was like pre-pandemic was when you played with Alicia Keys and Ellen, right? That was like right before everything hit.
Yeah. We actually had a lot of stuff that we were doing this year that got pushed back. I did a song with her. We were doing like a lot of duet stuff, and that was really cool that she was bringing me on, and which is why I was going back and forth to LA a lot. And then something was just like, you need to go to Nashville right now. And then I was talking to my boy, I was talking to Exhibit, and he was like, you need to stay here in LA. You need to stay here, stay your ass here. And the next day I came to Nashville, and then that's when we got like the home order. And I was, holy shit, it's crazy. Yeah, so here we are.
Well, good thing you're good and safe, bro. Healthy.
Yeah, I love Nashville. It's a little more chill for me. You know, LA can be, you know, a bit of a hustle and everything. Nashville, you know, makes me feel like home. So I think I did the right thing.
Yeah. Yo, Brian, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. First off, thanks for having me, Patrick. Appreciate it, brother. And it's always good to see you too, man. So I'm Brian Craddock, and I guess first and foremost, I play guitar in the band Daughtry, and I've done that for 13 plus years now. I'm also a producer and songwriter, graphic designer. Basically, I do whatever I need to do to make money. But I've been doing these things
Stripper.
I feel like, am I the only one?
We lose audio? I think
I
we lost
can't hear.
audio.
We lost audio.
I think we lost Brian.
To express myself, whether it's on a painting or whether it's on the guitar, or whether it's helping a young band or even an old band, doesn't matter. Kind of, you know, putting some sort of stamp on it that, you know, that I have to offer. But yeah, so quarantine's been interesting. I've been reconnecting with a lot of people that I haven't talked to in years. Some old musicians, and even one of my old bands from back in the day, like from like long time ago, like 25 years ago. And it's been really, 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 really cool. I can't even speak highly enough about it. It's like going back in a time machine or something, man.
That's awesome.
But I love it. I love it. I've been doing that, and Daughtry's working on a new record, and so we're doing it remotely though. So we're working with Marty Fredrickson and Scott Stevens. I don't know if you guys know those dudes. Are both guys, but we're doing a new record with them, and we're doing it all from home. Everybody's tracking from home. Drums, guitar, bass, keys, programming. It's all happening. I feel really bad for those dudes editing all that mess, because it's coming from all over, and there's like 6 different dudes submitting files, which sounds chaotic to me. So anyway, yeah, so it's been fun, staying busy, and spending time with family. You know,
Yeah.
that's what
That's awesome. It almost feels like, and I can share the sentiment of like catching up with old friends who I haven't even talked to before quarantine, because now I'm like feeling all sentimental and all like, oh, shit, like I could just.
That's it, man. And that's exactly it. And it's been really kind of trippy, man. Like I haven't seen some of these guys in years, and one dude had lymphoma, lived through it. Other dude went through some dark stuff, and now he's back in like full dad mode, and he's a drummer as well, and he tours and such. And so it's been like just this crazy thing. And then we did this like group, we didn't do Zoom, we did a group FaceTime the other day, and it was like just the most, almost kind of surreal, like talking to these dudes again. It was cool, man. I don't know. Like I said, I call it the 1995 time machine. So
That's awesome. Kyle.
Yeah. Hey, so I'm Kyle, and I too am a member of the I will do anything for money school, but I'm first and foremost a violinist. That's actually how I got hooked up with Eventide, was making crazy noises with an electric violin on an H9, which I've been doing for several years now, and it's definitely one of my passions. But in addition to that, I also tour as a utility guy. I play guitar, mandolin. Sometimes I learn instruments because the gig says you need to. And then I also write arrangements, and I do recording here from my home studio.
That's awesome, dude. So how many instruments do you think you can play?
Well, it depends on your definition of instrument and your definition of play. I usually tell people 7 is roughly the number.
Nice. That's a good amount, dude. That's a good amount for you to be like, I can play any musical gig I want. They'll be like, there's a banjo chart. Can you play that?
Well, they have to have strings. I don't really do anything that doesn't have strings. So you keyboard players and drummers, like I let you have that because that's just a different world. But if it has frets and if you can pluck or bow it, I can probably make my way around.
That's a t-shirt, man.
Claire, how you doing there?
Yeah, I'm good. So my name is Claire Cunningham, obviously from Texas. People believe that, actually. No, I'm originally from Ireland, living in the States just over 2 years in Nashville, 2 years almost the middle of this month. And I'm a singer, songwriter, performing artist. So obviously COVID has been a tough transition, but it's been amazing, I found personally, because I needed this time to be alone and like actually work at my craft and all the things, when you're going 90 miles an hour all the time, it's hard to like digest what you're actually doing. So this has given me a creative space where I've been able to just really hone in on what I need to do and what's actually important, as far as like writing. And I have a big project coming up, which luckily was done right before the COVID. So I just got the master's 15 minutes before this. So
that's awesome. Do you still have family abroad?
So mom and dad are in Ireland. I have a sister here in the States over in Nantucket, and then two brothers in Australia. So we're all kind of spread out.
How's Ireland holding up with the COVID?
I mean, they went into complete lockdown. So mom and dad aren't allowed out of the house, like as far as 2 mile, like outside of where the perimeter of where you live. You have to have papers in your car when the cops stop you, and they like, I guess smaller countries have to abide by these rules because if they don't, it'll wipe out a country. So, but where I'm from, there's no shops, so there's nothing. So they have to extend the rule for some of them.
Gotcha. Kayleigh, what's up?
Hey guys, I'm Kayleigh Moyer. I'm also in Nashville. Met Patrick and the Eventide crew, and damn, like a long time ago through Weathertone and the Mother of All Hangs, and jamming with James. And so in Nashville, I do session drums and live touring, session drums, everything, clinics. Right before kind of COVID took over everything here, I was either touring with a pop artist named Whitney Wars or with Kampen at our group Reignite, which is an electric string quartet with drums. So between the two of those things and some session work. And then when COVID shut everything down, I switched over to doing all drum tracks from home and kind of opened up my website a lot, which gave me a lot of downtime to set that all up. So I'm doing all remote drum tracking for people and a lot of online drum lessons and just trying to, make it work for sending beats to people who really need them right now.
That's awesome. I feel like online drum lessons are like one of those rarities that must be insanely freaking hard to do online. Like guitar is hard already to do via Skype. I feel like if I'm doing a Skype guitar lesson, it's harder for me to go to my student and be like, no, put that finger there, because I can't physically be like, this is the shape. I feel like that might be a little harder with drums too, especially getting all the sonics right.
Yeah, but I've got everything, since it's set up to record, I can run everything through my board into the lesson. So at least the audio for them is really good.
Yeah.
Hearing it, the only thing that I'm definitely missing is being able to play with the students in real time. I feel like that's so much of like, they find out, oh, my left hand's a bit lazy. I didn't notice it until I was trying to line it up with somebody else. But at least this way, I didn't even give online drum lessons until a couple months ago. But now I'm working with students all over the country, which is I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So it's been kind of a cool unifying experience.
Yeah. Dude, I also want to give a little bit of context to that magnet issue. from earlier. Like Kayleigh, you came to New York. This was over a year ago, right? This was like
Yeah.
2018, 29 or early 2019.
It was like January or February of 2019.
Dude, so you played a gig and we were like, yo, let's meet up in the city, whatever. And it just got wild to the point where we ended up behind a venue. I think it must have been Brooklyn Bowl.
Brooklyn
right?
Bowl.
And then there were magnets on the wall. And we were like, this is it. This is our totem. This is like the Inception thing, knowing that whenever we have these magnets, it's ultimate friendship night. So every year on our calendar, it's like UFN. And that's when we all have to reunite for UFN.
Well, except for your ex-girlfriend now has the magnet.
She took more than just a magnet, bro. Nick, how about you, man?
Nick Novelli?
Yeah.
All right. Hey guys. Guitarist here. Lived in Nashville for the past 4 years. I went to college with Pat when he was a tuba player.
I was a tuba player.
Oh, many a year ago. Moved to Nashville to pursue guitar-related things. I play on Broadway. I play with a bunch of live theater companies. I've done Janis Joplin, Shrek, different shows that I've loved. I'm moving away from that, and I've tried releasing my own artist career this year, which was shut down by COVID. We were in the studio now, and nobody really feels comfortable in the studio, so we're doing what I can online. I've been streaming a lot to Reddit and gaining a bunch of students from there, from all over the world, a lot from India and Europe. And just, I'm doing a lot of transcribing. That's all I can do. Maybe I'll get some. I'm trying to learn Cliffs of Dover right now.
Oh,
Like
shit.
good one. Yeah. 10 years. So I'm not nowhere close, but I'm learning.
Dude, Eric Johnson, he's giving away. Is Eric Johnson? He's giving away like free lessons online. If you donate to like a charity to help with the COVID relief and stuff like that. Don't quote. I think I saw this on Facebook. I don't think it's fake, but
yeah, I'm sure there's thousands of people going for it, but I'll check that out.
Oh yeah. Tim, how about you, man? How you doing?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, where are you, dude?
I'm outside. Man, I've been inside all day. How are you doing, Patrick?
I'm inside. Like, I'm inside all day, man.
Yeah, man, yeah. No, it's good to see everybody. It's kind of weird, but it's cool to see everyone. For those of you that I don't know, I'm a cellist, mainly shifting towards composing now. So I'm actually releasing a short film, my first short film this Thursday or Friday, or that's the goal anyways. And then working on making a full movie to go over a live show. Like Kayleigh was saying, her and I have a band called Reignite. Kyle plays in it sometimes too, and we can get them on the road. We had some shows lined up, but obviously things get shifted around. But
yeah, you guys weren't the only ones. There was a lot of shifting, mostly in the not happening anymore direction.
Yeah, so just the goal is really to put this movie above our live show. So it's just kind of a lot of work on the video side, which I'm not as much used to. But I also just, doing freelance cello work and online lessons, doing whatever I can. So
yeah. That's awesome, dude. I was listening to a talk the other day, and I think it might have been a Quarantide talk, but someone was talking about like how now that we don't have the opportunity to do the things we usually do, it's time to double down on the things that we never had the opportunity to do before, right?
100%,
so,
yeah.
For example, like scoring a film or like working on those skills to do music to picture or anything else really, like golfing or whatever. Like skills that you can double down on to kind of improve. So once this is all over, whenever, if it's ever, you have those to kind of in your tool set,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Everybody's just got to be extra creative, it seems. So
yeah, dude, anything to stimulate the brain. I'm gonna hit you guys with some hard-hitting questions right now, bro. Ready for this? I'm sure you've never been asked these questions. I'm sure.
Dear.
So this one's gonna be the first one. This was a personal. I want to know. Curt, I think I know your answer for this, but what's the best hot chicken place in Nashville? Anyone can answer that one.
Well, I mean, I was gonna kind of play a joke on everyone and just say, fucking Hattie B's, but we all know that answer. We know it's Prince's. I mean, we know it's Prince's. You know, for
Didn't
sure.
Prince's burn down though? Like the original Prince's?
Yes. Well, someone drove a car through one of the Prince's. I don't know which one, but I know it's. But I think the one on Nolensville is that one's still open, right? Or is that the one that burned down? I'm not
No,
sure.
that one's new. I think that's still kicking.
Yeah, that will. Yeah. Okay. Well.
So
Why you gotta ask the black guy? Why you gotta ask the black guy where the best chicken? I just caught on to that.
Bro, hold on. I asked a general question. I said I knew your answer because we hung out before, bro. Listen, don't put me on the spot like this, bro. Look at me. Come on. Like, what?
I thought we were family.
We are, bro. I'm just saying. Family gives good recommendations, bro. I'm dead.
Oh, chicken.
Oh yeah. Nice. Yo, Curt, this was actually for you too. Like, I'm wondering, like, you were just in LA. Like, what's it like traveling right now, like through the pandemic? Like, did you get out into Nashville right before quarantine, or was that during the lockdown already?
No, I did, man. Like I mentioned earlier, I got out right before they did the lockdown order for Nashville, maybe 2 days or something, 2 or 3 days. But dude, it was like, I mean, the plane was empty, you know, and it was just empty, dude. Nobody was on the plane. I flew back business that time, and it was maybe about 2 people flying business, and maybe 10 people on the flight, dude. It was empty. The airports were empty. Nashville, dude. When I got into Nashville, you guys know how crazy Nashville's airport can be. But dude, you can see the full carpet. There's nobody walking around.
I was just there yesterday, and it was just dead. It was just unbelievable.
You were just there yesterday. Where were you flying from?
There was a guy who was flying in that I know, so I just didn't meet him there. But you know,
that's crazy.
it's like I would say like half the people that I saw though had masks on. So it was kind of like going to like the emergency room or something when going to the airport.
Yeah.
I heard it's going to be mandatory to have to wear a mask now anyway. So you'll, if you don't have one, you can't fly. I got an email from American about that. I think a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's a new policy. I got the same thing.
Ooh. Dude, I feel like in moments like where there's only 10 people in the flight and a lot of them are like in economy or in business, upgrade them to first class. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Hook me up, man. Put me up there. Put me in, coach.
Put me in the pilot's like chair, man. There's no one flying. This thing's all automated anyway, man. Heard it here first. Brian Craddock, flying plane. Here we go.
When I get some turbulence.
Dude. It's funny because before COVID, I used to always fly with the mask anyway. Like people would tease me. I'd have my hat on, my sunglasses, and I'd have like a scarf around my face. So it would definitely freak some people out. But I would cover myself up anyway because just the smell. I never really liked the smell of, like planes, and I was always like a germy kind of guy. So yeah.
Or lavender. People like put on lavender to like calm down if they're afraid of flying. So every once in a while, there's some really strong lavender suds next to you, and you're like, oh. Go right. That's my experience.
Is lavender like an edible? Like you can just take like a lavender gummy and then be chill for the rest of the flight?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a spray.
Essential oil. Essential oil.
That's funny.
Yo, Nick, so you work a lot, like you play a lot in like Broadway, right? Like,
yep.
Every time I visit Nashville and I go to Nash Vegas, all I hear is like cymbals and like maybe a kick drum. So what does like Nashville sound like right now? Like what is Broadway like? Is it totally
I did a
quiet?
photo shoot. It's dead, man. I did like it's the craziest
thing. It's kind of like when Curt or Jim were talking about the BNA being completely dead. Though, like, they never shut off the neon lights. The neon lights are always, like, even though all bars close around 2 or 3, there's nothing. It's like a ghost town. It's like what you would picture, like downtown, like Times Square being dead. That's Broadway is our Times Square, and it being dead is just as surreal. I know a lot of people who are doing photo shoots and everything like it. And it's just a surreal feeling, man. You know what? That's where I would always meet all my friends after our shifts. That's where we all get drinks. That's where we'd get lunch. That's where I'd work if I wasn't on the road. So now that it's closed, man, it's just it's a haunted feeling. Like, I don't like going down there now that it's a ghost town. I don't like being there. Weird.
What are like venues doing right now to kind of adapt to this?
So a few, I know Tootsie's, the circuit of Tootsie's, which is Rippy's, Tootsie's, Honky Tonk Central, and
Kid Rocks.
Yeah, thank you. They're all, I think, going through Tootsie's website, and they're doing a live stream where you can donate to it, which all of our friends, and I'm sure some of us are doing, where you can PayPal and donate to them. And they're doing it, I think, in 4-hour shifts. I can't tell. I know Redneck Riviera, I know they're doing the same thing, but yeah, no one's really getting like severance pay or anything. All musicians are kind of like, we know the risks of being musicians. You know that at the drop of a hat, you can lose your job, and there's no job security in this business. So yeah, a lot of my friends are out of work, all doing unemployment, which thankfully for me has gone well, and I've been able to assist all my friends with it. Yeah, but it's a scary time, man. People are worried about paying rent and everything.
Yeah, dude. And that's like, I feel like Nashville, out of all the places in the world, like maybe LA is also kind of in this bucket, but like, man, you guys really got hit hard in terms of like the entertainment industry being, you know, stopped basically. Like, it's like a fucking unstoppable object, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But you guys have, like, I mean, Curt, I've seen you like do a ton of live streams like on your Instagram just to kind of keep that like fan engagement up. And like, I was talking to some of my friends the other day, and again, it's another one of those things about like doubling down on something that's not available. Like, what are you guys doing now to kind of like double down on that aspect of like interacting with your fans, getting the community together? Because obviously you can't do that in a physical space right now. Like, have you guys been like doing live streams? Have you guys been just like posting videos? Like, what's the best practice right now?
I think at least from my world, I think that the best thing that any of us could be doing is collaborating, either be it through Zoom, FaceTime, Facebook, and doing these live performances or pseudo live performances. I know that Daughtry, we did one and it went over gangbusters. It was like, I actually didn't realize it would go over as well as it did, but it turns out people want that. So who knew? But it was really fun, man. And we did it to engage our fan base. We took a vote on like a song they would like to hear. So they could have picked whatever they wanted. It could be something we hadn't done in years, you know, yeah. Which I was praying it wouldn't be, because I didn't want to have to do homework, but you know, lazy guy. But no, it went over great, man. And I think, you know, there's tons of bands are doing that now. I saw Train did one, and they did like a full set. Rob Thomas did one. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a wise thing to be doing. I know a lot of my Broadway friends are doing it. Some of the people that I've worked in the studio with, I've seen some people take it to like the limits, man, and do like real full shows, not like not in you know 6 different frames, but like they got together as a unit in a room with nobody there except maybe a camera guy and film a live show. And it was cool, man, because the front person could see the comments, and they're communicating with the fans through the comments, but it's a live show. So it was like being kind of at a live show, kind of, but there's no audience, but there was a band playing and they were killing it. And the singer is communicating with the fans through the smiley face emoji or that one or I don't know. It's been really cool to see the innovation that that people have during this. I've been very impressed.
In a way, it's like the Renaissance period for this kind of thing, dude.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
my favorite
Totally.
one that I've seen so far, and I mentioned this a lot in all the Quarantides that I've done. Like Travis Scott did one where he rendered a concert inside of Fortnite.
Yep, my son watched it, loved it.
Dude, amazing. It was like
What?
it was the epitome of like doubling down on the community aspect, because you're still in that virtual space, like hanging
Yep.
out with real people, but they're characters, and you can customize however you want. And then now you're watching like this huge production concert within a game, and it really
Yep.
felt like all the hype that comes in with going into a show was built into that like production. Man,
Yep.
Wow.
And that dude's highly creative. Highly.
oh yeah, dude, amazing.
Seriously wows me.
Yeah, I can't wait for like virtual reality concerts to be a thing though.
I've been pushing for it, man. I've been pushing for it. My son's got that Oculus, the I don't know, the good one. And I don't know what it's called, man. I'm an old dude.
I think it is Oculus.
But it's some of the stuff I've seen in that is absolutely insane. It blows my mind. I think it'd be really cool to have a virtual concert. I've seen all the footage like of the Who or the Rolling Stones live from Wembley, and I've seen all that stuff. That's cool. That's like a show that happened, and they put a camera out in the audience beside a person or whatever, and they filmed a show. But I think it'd be cool to have concerts that are a real band, and then there's cameras that are there to film it, like 3 or 4 360-degree cameras, and then I don't know, maybe it's free, maybe you pay for it, I don't know, maybe you sell merch on it, I don't know, but
Yeah,
I
that would
think
be dope.
there's something really cool about to happen in that space, and it'd be awesome if you could view it through an Oculus, or you had the choice to just watch it on your iPad, just like I'm watching us right now on my iPad. So I think that could be pretty innovative. I don't know how soon we'll be at that place, or if we'll need to. We'll see. That's yet to be determined, but I think it could be cool. Rad.
That would be cool. I'm just thinking about like some of the industries that would really benefit from something like that, and like music is definitely something that would benefit from that, because then you're in that space. It's already hard to perform without an audience, because
Yep.
a lot of like that is like that reflection of the energy coming back to you.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about some of the industries that might not be able to benefit from this, and I'm like thinking maybe like stand-up comedians might have like the worst time right now, because how do you get laughs from like a virtual space? And it's just like, how do you even do that? How are you gonna like rag on like one of the audience members without seeing them? I can stop my video if I start to cry when they're roasting me. I'm like, I'm fine.
What a strange world we live in.
Like, I can tell from the number of cares emojis going on right now that this joke's going really well.
This one. That one. This one I'm really curious about. So like life in Nashville as a musician isn't always, it's really a challenge, man. But like when you look back into like coming up in the Nashville scene, do you have any like memories about like kind of like crazy memories that stuck with you, whether it be like a bridesmaid spilling beer all over your pedal board, or like just some crazy unique experience that makes you feel like, yeah, I'm in Nashville now, this is it? Anyone?
I'll go.
I did sound for a punk rock band when I first came down here. I think it might have been at the end or something, like I can't remember exactly where it was. Anyway, but their sound guy didn't show up, so and they were really struggling, to get their sound, and it sounded like crap. And they're like, "Hey, dude, do you know how to do this?" So I walk up there, yeah, I could do something. So I did a couple things, and they're like, "Oh, this is so awesome." And I was like, "What'd you do?" I said, "I just turned it down a little bit." And that's really all I did. They were just like, just creaming the speakers like crazy. So I just turned it down. So that was my first experience, my first contribution to Nashville sound. Is to turn it down a bit. Yeah.
Dude, I feel like every time a sound guy, well, this is like, I had to learn over the years, like that when a sound guy is like, yo, you got to turn your guitar down. I'm like, all right, I'll turn my amp down. Sound check goes on. We play our first song and I'm like, I can't really hear myself that much.
Of course you do.
I'm already adjusting it. And I asked one of the sound guys, and they were like, we knew you were going to do that. That's why we made it lower to begin with. I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Anyone else have like any kind of like memorable Nashville coming up stories?
You go ahead, Kayleigh.
I was really excited in college. I got asked to do a recording session. It was one of like my first bigger recording sessions at a studio on Music Row that I don't want to say which one it is because of the story, but it was like 9 a.m. Had to load my drums in for this one, and I was still kind of waking up, still kind of grumpy, and I had my friends on the session also helping me carry the drums in. We were going up to the riser, setting a tom down, going out to the truck, grabbing the next thing, bringing it in. And I remember the main engineer from that session coming up to me, and or somebody else from the band or whatever was just like, hey man, where do you want the drums? He's like, yeah, you know, just put the stuff over there. And I'm like, actually you should be talking to me because I'm the drummer, you know, what do you want me to start setting up? He's like, oh, I just thought you were the drummer's girlfriend helping to carry something.
Oh man, I was on that session.
I remember the engineer was trying to talk to like one of the other guys in the band, like he was the drummer. I'm like, actually, hey man, how's it going? I'm Kayleigh. I'm the drummer. He's like, oh, I just thought you were
there's a backstory to that too, because I was the session leader on that session, and the night before, that engineer had called me to ask about what we were going to need set up so we could start prepping in the morning. And he was like, so tell your drummer to bring, you know, his snare, his cymbals, and his pedal. And I did not correct him because I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And it was.
I know, but it's like one of those things, it's like you got to get through that first time. But that was like my first, like, so Nashville.
So Nashville.
Nashville kind of story.
But you killed it though, dude. You're a sick drummer.
Aw,
And
thanks, Patrick.
of course, you offend. So Brian, you run Cat Room Studios, right?
That's right.
What's the studio kind of culture there during the pandemic right now, and how do you kind of see it recovering from that?
Well, right now, for me at least, I'm doing a lot of like remote stuff. So if like, I have a great example. There's a girl in Jersey I'm working with named Sid. She's like a young kind of indie alt pop artist. And she was traveling to Nashville to do these sessions with me. And then all this hit. And of course, in your area, it's 10 times worse. So there's no getting out, man. There's no getting out. So basically, we have been sending and by the way, she's never recorded herself ever. So I'm basically doing all the track assembly here and then sending like bounces, and then I'm producing through FaceTime. So the communication is there. I'm able to see. She's just hitting, you know, Apple spacebar and recording, capturing the data, and then uploading the files. And I'm doing that with at least 3 other people right now that I'm kind of just getting rolling with. So it's kind of kept my business going, which has been, I wasn't sure I was gonna be able to do that at first. I had to kind of figure out how I was gonna do it and if it was doable. But it turns out that you can do that on the cheap pretty easily. I mean, basically what's happening is I love running my vocals through a 1073 into a CL1B. It's sort of the Brian go-to, and or it's actually a lot of producers go-to. But what I'm doing is I'm getting the raw audio, and then I will run it through my signal chain once it gets here after I do the comp. I don't do every freaking comp.
Right.
And then I'll run the vocal through that. And then basically I end up with something that is pretty close to the original. It might be a little colored depending on what, you know, interface they were using, but overall I can't tell the difference when I go to mix. So it's been cool. It's been a learning experience for me for sure. And I'm actually thinking that The artists are learning a bit in the process as well, and hopefully maybe it's encouraging them to do more at home, you know, which is cool.
Yeah.
I'm sort of all about the community. I'm not one of these guys that's like a hoard your secrets kind of guy, because I don't think that gets us anywhere when we do the secret hoarding, you know. So I think the more people we have doing recording, I think it's better for the community. And as far as being in Nashville, I mean, honestly, I'm starting to see people work again, doing sessions. There is a lot of the from home stuff like I've been doing with Daughtry, but I've been seeing people in rooms again together. So I don't know if they're doing it at the smaller places. I don't know if Blackbird's doing stuff as of yet, but I mean, people are, it seems to me they're starting to work a bit again. So I have a feeling by summer, it'll kind of, at least here, be headed towards work again.
That's awesome.
When I was out, me and my wife and my kids went for a drive yesterday, just for Mother's Day outing and just to enjoy the beautiful weather we had. And I was just looking around, and it seems to be a lot more people kind of going out now, or coming out of their house at least. So if I were to, you know, speculate, I would say that'll probably carry over, and hopefully safety measures will be taken as far as like people being in the studio together or what have you. But you know, we'll see. It's all yet to be determined.
Yeah. I wonder how the Nashville kind of music scene in terms of live shows, especially down on Broadway, Nick, like how that's going to recover. Because I mean, every time I've visited Nashville and I go to any kind of venue, it's pretty shoulder to shoulder, man. And everyone's just kind of like, so I wonder, what do you guys think? How and when is Nashville going to recover? Or if, like, is Nashville going to recover?
I honestly think summer is obviously Broadway's biggest, is where we have the most tourism, as where we make the most money. So I don't think this summer is going to be quite as big as last year when we had the draft and everything. So I'd say I kind of got two schools of thought on it. Either not until we have a vaccine, or when everything kind of is in the first phase of opening up. It's some people's first inclination to try to get out of their hometown, get out far away from where they've been quarantined, and maybe come to Nashville and have some of the nightlife. I mean, there's going to be restrictions on how many people do a club and everything. So monetarily, the bands will be impacted because we make most of our money off of tips. But I don't think this summer is going to be quite soon enough for us to be fully back to normal live music wise.
What about like go
my roommate actually plays on Broadway a lot as well. He was doing probably 6 or 7 shifts a week at least before the lockdown came in. And I know that the bars that he's working at have said quite openly that they don't think they're going to have live music again until August. And that's at the earliest. Because a lot of them are saying that even if they were to come back, if they're running at 50% capacity, they wouldn't be making the margins that they need to make, and it would honestly be better for them to just stay closed. And you know, I think for a lot of us musicians, there's sort of this dichotomy of like, yeah, we want to be doing gigs again. Like, there's nothing that would make me happier than to be up on stage again. But the flip side of that is that when you're a musician for a living, like, your job is literally to encourage people to do the worst possible thing to do during a pandemic, you know, which is to get really close together in a confined space. Off on people.
Yeah.
And so I think for, you know, it's definitely, I don't see, because Nashville did release a plan for reopening, and I think live music is in like phase 3 of the plan. And we just hit phase 1 today. We have to have 14 days without an increase in case rate, I believe, to move on to the next phase. So, you know, we're definitely looking at a couple months, I would say, before live music comes back. And even when it does, like, I think for a lot of us, I think we're going to want to play cautiously, because you don't want to just go all gung-ho and come straight back to packing out rooms at capacity and then be a part of the problem for why the pandemic persists longer. So
Yeah.
it's really tough to walk that line.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to be able to raise prices to kind of make up for the capacity. You know, like drinks will cost more. Maybe there's a cover on every place.
I'd
Well,
say
the drinks are already too expensive, so I don't know how much more they can get.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
honestly, if there's
But
I think that's gonna dampen the mood of especially the tourism part, because the big thing, I don't know, I'm sure everyone's heard the live band say there's never a cover here, so please tip the band. I think that's gonna maybe turn off a lot of people who just want to go bar to bar to bar to bar and spend as much money. If there's a $5 cover, that's gonna turn people away. It's the same like in New York, turns people away.
Oh yeah. I mean, even in local Albany shows, Nick, if you're like, yo guys, you guys want to go to my band show at the Low Beat? It's $5. They're like, I can use Spotify, bro. What are you kidding me?
You know how much a live show was back in like 1970 to get in the door? $5. Hasn't changed much, and people still act like it's a big. Whew.
My favorite thing is inviting people to a Facebook event and then people being like, maybe. I'm like, thanks, bro. I appreciate the commitment.
They have interested now, right? Isn't that the new maybe is interested?
Dude, the interested. I hate that, dude. I hate the interested answer. Oh my.
That being said, would you rather just the straight no, not going?
Yeah.
I feel
for
like
sure.
I almost like relate interested to being like being on on Tinder, and then you swipe right and you match and you're like, oh man, this is cool. Let me message them, and then no answer. Interested, but no commitment.
They still have Tinder? Wow.
It's harder now, bro. It's harder now.
Wow.
Although they're trying to like do something different with like all these online dating stuff, where they're like pandemic dating, where you get to like video chat from the thing, which is I think is extra awkward too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Just make a Twinder. Tinder.
What?
For all the dumb shit you say, like they get to see it, and then just nobody swipes right on anybody.
Do you guys think they're going to do like drive-in concerts there in Nashville? That's like something that people are talking about. They're like, well, we got to be socially distant, so why not like do a drive-in concert?
I hope so. I think that sounds rad.
Yeah, that's dope.
Awesome.
You could do it at like, you could literally rent out like the drive-in theaters that we have around here, and you could do a week's worth of shows and probably be able to pay a lot of crew with that loot, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a really cool idea. I mean, that article, I think it was in Norway that came out like a week ago, where they were doing FM transmitter concerts. That kind of got everybody talking about it. And then I started thinking about it. It's like, man, it would be so easy to roll into these drive-in theaters and have the crew still set up PA, do all the normal stuff, but then you've already got that radio transmitter technology built into the venue already. So you can have however many cars it is that you could have 300 or something like that, 300 cars pull in. And I don't know how much you charge for a ticket like that, but I don't know, it could be kind of cool, man. I know that there's so few of those drive-in theaters left, but I think there's literally a couple around here still. You could actually do something cool with that.
Dude, seriously, like, and I feel like there should be like a carpool discount, like where you got like 4 cars, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Social distancing, right? How many can you get in this VW?
We gotta sneak in the homie in the trunk, bro.
Yeah, right.
You can't pay the
Right. No air circulation at all.
I saw the best meme about it, where it's like one picture of like a drive-in concert, and it's just like cars parked, and then a mosh pit, which is just a bunch of cars like piled into each other.
Love it.
Everybody's gonna want to drive like convertibles so they can actually like
right.
car. Yeah, because they are like, I think I saw was it Norway or Denmark? It was one of them anyway, and I saw.
Yeah, it was Denmark, Claire.
It was Denmark, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, that's like, yeah, of course they're ahead like always, but yeah, I think it could be the new norm. Who knows?
I mean, out of all like the timelines that we live in, a timeline where drive-in concerts were big again sounds like a pretty rad thing, honestly.
It does.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely great. I mean, I think I'm gonna miss the space of being in a room. I feel like there's something sonically satisfying about feeling the rumble.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not a bad timeline. It's better than live streaming like concerts for the rest of the time. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. This question is for everyone. So Nashville is known. Well, I guess I should preface this as in like, most of the time when I talk to people, I'm like, yeah, what kind of music do you listen to? They're like, anything but country. And I feel like that's totally unfair to country music, just because like it's just gotten this reputation that no one really wants to give it a chance. So it's open to everyone. If you were in a room with someone who kind of is like against country, who would be an artist that you would put in front of them to kind of convert them to like, yo, country's dope?
Virgil Simpson.
Blanco Brown.
Bronco Brown?
Lil Nas X.
Yo.
Okay.
They don't even know they like country, bro, but they're listening to it now. Old Town Road.
Yo, this is funny. I mean, I would love to start this one off. When I was a kid, a lot of people. I grew up in a church that I couldn't listen to secular music, but the music sounded like a lot of like folky steel drivers, you know, a lot of pedal steels, you know, it was like black soul music, but it was a lot of slide guitars and banjos. That's what my church sounded like. So I couldn't listen to secular music until I was in high school. So fast forward, when I finally found like the Dixie Chicks and, you know, their live album and like some Gretchen Wilson stuff. I always listened to women because I grew up around a lot of women that could sing really good. So when I found that stuff, I was like, oh God, it sounds like church every morning, you know, every Sunday morning. So I loved country music when I was a young kid because it sounded like my church. So when I wasn't listening to a lot of hip hop, I would always play country music. And when I was on tour, like with certain people, like, you know, with hip hop artists, my friends would always tease me because I would always have like, you know, country music in my ears, and they'd be like, Curt, listen to that damn honky tonk shit again. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So I was always trying to convert people to country music. So to answer your question, one of the artists that I used to always play when people would be like, man, I don't like none of that country shit. I don't want to hear that fucking hillbilly shit. I would play like Rascal Flatts and, you know, like some of their pop tunes, and girls would be like, oh my God, I love this. I'm like, oh yeah, see, you love country music, don't you? And then I would convert them. But the Flats, man, you could never go wrong with the Flats because it sounded like some great pop shit. You know, his voice, you know, he had the soprano voice, you know, and everything. So
Totally.
That's a good pick. Does anyone else have any artists that they would put in front of someone to convert them?
Well, I think when people say I like everything but country, they immediately have a vision of country in their head. Like when I was in high school, I mean, in New Jersey, Pat can attest to this, there's like hardly any country music. So when I thought country music, I thought like Chattahoochee or something like really corny. But when I started digging into it, and Chris Stapleton turned out to be one of my favorite artists. And even before I moved to Nashville, and he's like, when people say they don't like country music, I think good music is good music. It doesn't matter the genre. Like you should be able to show anybody with an open mind a song from any type of genre that they thought they might hate, and a good composer or a good musician or a good artist would be able to move that person and make them feel something. And that's why I think Stapleton is moving into the front face of things, like that song he did with Justin Timberlake. I can't remember the name of it, but he's put in the forefront of
Say
things.
something.
Yeah, say
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
This incredible songwriter that he's such a unique and powerful voice. He looks like every other country singer, but that's the only thing he's got going against him, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, there is like kind of like a preconceived notion of like the country appearance though, right? There's like the cowboy hat and boots, but I feel like all those barriers now are being broken by newer country artists too. Like you don't need to wear boots and cowboy hats anymore to be country.
Now they're all dressed in the same end. Now it's all trucker hats, and they all want to look like Eric Church. So
You looks good, bro.
Take it if you got it, man.
And I got like a couple more questions. This one, Claire, I feel like you're going through some kind of similar process to this, but I was thinking about questions to ask like artists earlier, and one thing that I struggle with a lot is that social media is such a necessity for an artist. You have to have a social media presence. It's like almost impossible to be an artist nowadays without a social media presence. And I feel like me, when I'm trying to write a song or anything, trying to release anything, that's always in the back of my mind. I'm like, man, how am I going to flex this in social media? How is this going to fit in with what's mainstream or popular so that I can get more listeners or more views? Yeah. But like, also, I feel like at the same time, am I compromising like my artistic vision by worrying about that, you know?
Yes, yes, you are. Yes, you are, brother. It's funny. I didn't mean to interject, but Beyonce said something the other day, and I just love her. I'm an advocate of her, and I'm such an advocate of artists. You know, she said something the other day, and it resonated with me. And what she said was, man, we're all so into social media. We're so affected. We wake up in the morning, the first thing we pick up is our phone, and we start scrolling. The problem is a bunch of artists, in my opinion, they're so affected by what everyone else is doing that they never really get a chance to soul seek and really understand what their purpose and what their voice is as an artist, because they're chasing everything that they're scrolling. So the consumer, they're not committing to what you're putting out because you're not really taking the time to be quiet enough to become and develop that special message that you're supposed to deliver as an artist, as a speaker. You know, your gift, it makes you a prophet. Your voice, your talent, your everything that you work on, it uniquely makes you special. So if you wake up and you're always scrolling, looking at what somebody else did and figuring out how to fit in, that's exactly what you're gonna do when you drop some music. You're gonna fit the fuck in, and your shit's just not gonna be special because you're just watching what everybody else is doing. And that's exactly what she said. Sometimes you gotta go in solitude and really connect with God and connect as an artist, like who you're supposed to be, develop your sound, and stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop worrying about what mainstream is doing. Timberland wasn't thinking about mainstream when he blew. Pharrell wasn't thinking about mainstream. Their stuff is different. It was different when they started. It's still different now. James Brown, Prince, D'Angelo, Bruno Mars. There's a reason why these artists are so special, and I feel like that you struck a nerve. But this is what I'm gonna tell. This is what I'm gonna tell my kids. This is what I tell every artist that I talk to. That my passion is really knowing who you're supposed to be, and stop following everybody, dog, because the fans feel real. They recognize real. Yeah. When you follow people, when you don't work on your gift and your art and who you're supposed to be, yeah, they're gonna rock with you for a minute, but then they're gonna be off of you, and they're not gonna stick with you like they stick with Prince, like they stick with Sly and Family Stone, like they stick with Bruno Mars, like they stick with Beyonce, like they stick with Rihanna. Like these artists are special for a reason because they don't give a fuck. They're not chasing people. They do what they do. They know what they're supposed to do. They know how they're supposed to sound, and either you rock with it or you don't. And that would be my advice to all the artists, that are coming up, that are inspired. Find your lane, cultivate that. If not, just be the songwriter or just be the producer, But if you know for sure what you are supposed to do because you sat still enough to receive that from God, your shit's gonna stick out when you drop it.
Yeah. No, 100%, Curt. And I like everything you've said resonates, especially as an artist, because a lot of people, especially even when I got here, people were like, okay, we're gonna box you now, and and I'm like, no, fuck this. You have to stand ground, and it sometimes will take you a little longer, but you will always gain the respect from people, because people, like you said, they know real. Yeah, you can fake shit for a little bit, but nobody, if you are unique And I guarantee you, Prince and all the greats were told the exact same thing. Nah, you got to do it this way because that's what the people want. The people get bored after 2 minutes. So if you continue going on a lane that you fully, truly believe that you are giving your actual heart, you are giving your soul, which I think as a songwriter, I can't sit in a room and because I have to talk real. I want to speak to the masses, and the only way of doing that is by going within. So yeah, like, and this is why quarantine has been good for a lot of those type of artists, because you actually don't have the noise around you and the people telling you, let's do this, let's do, you actually hone in on what it is you're meant to do and go forward from this moment on, knowing that you're being true to yourself as well as your fan base. Because if you have good fans, they will follow you throughout your journey, and it is a journey. You know, as an artist, you're always evolving. So some people may not like certain sounds, or like even with the country thing, like it fuses with so many genres that there is no one label for, you know, there's just so many kinds of music. But as an artist, yeah, you have to stay true to you. And when you deliver something with passion and emotion and something that you know is real, everybody else can feel that. People, you know, even non-musicians, people, it's energy. We are energy. Our music is energy, and it's all connected through our energetic fields that we create. So
yeah, it's a real journey. And I think, like, even relating that back to something like a personal experience is like, if it's so hard to like find your sound and like figure out what you're supposed to do when when you have so many inspirations, and trying to get those, like trying to take little bits and pieces of those things that inspire you and mold it into something that's truly unique. Exactly. So like even like listening back to something, I think one of the hardest barriers I've hit was like, I'm listening back to something and then deciding that, oh, this is derivative, and you know, like, and then having to kind of maybe even give up like that particular song. But man, I totally understand where you guys are coming from. That's such a, it means a lot. Like that does resonate with a lot of artists, especially nowadays when there's so much pressure to, you know.
God, it's all social media is just, it's a continuous, like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And, you know, there's always, it's a shame that so many people want to be or sound like somebody else. Be yourself. And then, you know, I think a lot of times people are like, no, especially for marketing purposes, they want you to sound a certain way because, yeah, that'll sell more. But actually, you can be the next thing that, like, my job right now, I want to create the newest of the sounds, because then I will create a new sound maybe, or a unique, because everything starts from a thought, or as you know, you cannot create it or destroy it. So if you are going to create something, everything you look at and touch has been created. So there's always room for more. And so I think people get so caught up in, oh, I must be like everybody else to succeed. No, you will succeed when, you know, you find yourself and get your sound out there. And maybe everybody else will want to jump on board for that. Who knows?
Yeah.
And in a sense, you have to create your own audience. It's like you shouldn't go out looking for a prepackaged audience. Oh, these guys will like this. You have to create your own audience. The audience doesn't exist for what you are going to produce if it's truly original. But you have to, you know, you'll create an audience, a new audience.
Yeah. I think a lot of it for, I mean, even just younger people, like, and it's like, man, I really want a piece of that. I want a piece of that success. I want a piece of that fame. I want to be rich like Post Malone, and and if I sound like him, maybe I'll get a piece, you know. And it really is, it starts, and I talk to a lot of people who have that kind of mindset, and it does feel like inauthentic in the sense of like, you know, why would they listen to you when they can listen to Post Malone, someone who you're, you know,
exactly
kind of like taking from. So,
and they say that fans are not stupid. They actually say it. They'll say, he's trying to be like this guy, or he's trying, you know, their fans are, I love rich, true fans. I mean, like, they will say some stuff to you and it would be so accurate. And I love it. That's why I always talk to them, and I respect their opinion, and they recognize real. Like Jay-Z said, real recognize real. They recognize real.
Yeah.
Very true.
That's awesome, man. And I guess I just kind of have like one last question for everyone before we go. So Nashville recently, man, on top of the pandemic, you guys were hit with a tornado, like pretty much right before like the whole thing, the shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
And Kyle, I was following your social, and it was such a beautiful thing to watch, like the community come together and like help out these venues and cooperate to rebuild, you know, something that they don't want to lose, which is Nashville. You don't. But now, how is like, what's your kind of like message? And this is for everyone, like message of hope for everyone, because getting together now obviously is impossible, and that's always like a Nashville thing, which is like everyone can get together and help. But in times like these, what's everyone's kind of like outlook of the future? What's your message of hope?
Sticking together. I mean, but even if it's not physically, through communication and outreach, I mean, I think that's the most important thing. That, I mean, yes, this tornado hit and everybody was able to come together for a few weeks, 2 weeks actually, before this hit, and kind of rally and bring the community together. And but I saw it go past that. I mean, I think everybody's been, you know, staying in touch and helping with fundraisers. And I mean, I think when you're together, no matter whether it's physically or whether it's you know, through technology or what have you, I think ultimately that's the best thing that we can do. We're worth more as one, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to remember. I think it's easy to forget that a lot of times with politics and everything that's going on in the world, pandemics and all this stuff. And I think when we view ourselves as one, I think it can go a long ways.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. So I would kind of tag on to that. I would say my message would be based on what I've experienced, that even the most negative situations can actually have positive consequences, if that makes sense. Because Patrick, you know, because you've seen on my socials, the tornado actually went right through my backyard. And it left a tree laying on my house, and it totally destroyed my fence. It knocked my guest cabin off its foundation. I had to get a new roof. I had to get all this new stuff. And it was honestly humbling, because you know that you've made all these connections with people, and that you've made all these friends, and you've had all of these experiences where your life touched someone else's, especially as a musician. You know, I think we have sort of a unique perspective on that. But I could not believe the day after it happened, I had my phone almost broke. I got so many text messages from people just asking what they could do to help. And the next day I had probably 50 or 75 musicians helping me just clear the trees out of my backyard. And, you know, then quarantine hit, and that it slowed everything down, the whole process. And so everything's getting rebuilt. It's honestly going to be better than it was before. It's been really slow because, you know, at first we were going to have all these people helping us, and now it's kind of like, well, it's me and my dad, and we're wearing masks, and we're doing 5-person jobs with 2 people, and it's really slow. But, you know, at the end of the day, there's still people texting me, you know, hey, I just want to see how you're doing. I just want to check in. And it's just been a constant reminder of, you know, of how many people at any given moment would drop everything that they have just to come and help a friend in need. And it was, especially in the face of all the negativity that we're seeing on social media with the pandemic and with everything else, in my perspective, I think that it's been really, really good to see the good side of people in helping rebuild from the tornado, and that we really do take care of our own here in Nashville. And that's one of the main reasons I love living here.
Southern hospitality, man. It's amazing. Yeah. All right, guys, we think we just passed an hour, and I kind of want to be mindful of everyone's time. So thank you guys so much for joining in. I'll kind of call out your names, and then you can kind of just tell people where they can find you and, you know, all that good stuff. So Jim, I'll start with you again.
Well, I don't know where you can find me. You could come over to my house. It's about the only thing right now.
This has steak demo studio.
What's that? Go buy Eventide products. But yeah, I just got the studio put together before the pandemic hit, so I'm really not out there yet, but soon.
Oh yeah, keep an ear out for it. Dude, that is legit a nice looking setup, dude. It looks like you're.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it can blow your hair back. Yeah, it's
What's like the first song you played on those speakers so far?
first song that I played.
Yeah, you were like your test song.
I think I played my test tape of my own song. And if that sounds good, that's all I care about, really. As long as my music sounds good on it. But, yeah.
That's a good test, man. The one that we always use for any studio is like we'll play some Steely Dan, which is like
Oh yeah. Play some of that or
yeah. Nick, if you go back to St. Rose, they have new don't go back to school. they got some new speakers. Steely Dan is always playing.
I usually pick out like some kind of progressive rock thing or something, because there a lot of times just the production on that is like so tight that I can, if I can hear the the ride bell just perfectly, and I say, okay, that era I think was just produced, to be listened to in like really a lot of depth. So I use that as like speaker testing and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome when you're listening to like new speakers and you're like, man, I didn't hear that before. That's cool.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
James.
Yeah, well, you can find me, I guess, at James Alexander Productions for Facebook. Have a lot of Eventide videos like related to Eventide that are going to be coming out. Like I said, we did the Mother of All Hangs for Summer NAMM last year in Nashville, and compiling a bunch of those videos together. So hopefully we'll have a whole playlist that'll feel like that concert. And I'm hoping we can get that out around Summer NAMM time, what would have been Summer NAMM this summer.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Summer NAMM.
I know, bro. I'm gonna miss you guys.
Sure.
Summer NAMM is like always. Summer NAMM for me is less of a, well, it definitely is a business thing, but a lot of it for me too is like a family reunion with you guys, like seeing everyone and just catching up, man. It's sad that we're not gonna be able to do that, but I'm so happy that we were able to do it in this forum.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Brian, where can people find you besides flying planes, man?
Let's see. So Instagram, it's Brian, BRIAN _ Craddock, CRADDOCK. You can also find me at Cat Room Studio, and on Facebook, the Cat Room Recording Studio.
Is Daughtry doing any more live stream like shows?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. That was a lot of fun, man. I think people dig it. I mean, maybe I'm just naive, but they seem to.
I'm gonna start a movement for the next Daughtry live stream to
do it, Pat. Do it.
Dude, I'm gonna make them pick the oddest B-side songs that.
Oh, no, come on, man!
That it's just gonna be. Oh, yeah.
I don't want to dig into the catalog,
man. Claire.
Yeah, you can find me. So my name, Claire Cunningham, music.com is the easiest way, I guess. All my handles, and it's no I in the Claire. So CLARE Cunningham and music.com. And yeah, at Claire C Official is most of the handles. And probably out on the streets running half naked when the sun's out. So
All right.
I mean, a lot of people are like, "Are you the girl that's running?" Yeah. I'm like, "Yep, that's me." So.
What's it about?
All right.
Thank God for good weather.
Dude, it's literally outside. I'm in Jersey right now, and I can see the trees moving. We have like a storm that's hitting us, and it snowed here on Saturday.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was crazy because I went for a 10-mile hike up a mountain, and as soon as I got on the top of the mountain, it started snowing, and it was still pretty warm. It was like 60 degrees. I was wearing a shirt, and it was really snowing. Yeah.
Crazy, man.
That's crazy, man.
Kayleigh, where can people find you?
Well, I'm posting pretty regularly through this setup here on Instagram, and it's just Kayleigh Moyer. Kayleigh, the weird spelling of Kayleigh. And then to get a hold of me, I'm booking everything I'm doing right now, whether it's sessions or lessons through my website, just KayleighMoyer.com. Just keeping it simple.
Nice. Nick, how about you, man? Where can people find you?
Instagram at nnovelli, N-N-O-V-E-L-L-I. The nicknovelli.com website is down for maintenance. Facebook, Nick Novelli Music. I think I'm on Farmers Only and J-Date.
Yes.
My girlfriend isn't happy about it, but I got it.
You're just trying to get some like vegetables, bro, but everyone's hitting you up for a date.
Yeah, we're gearing up the album, and hopefully it'll be out when I'm out of my house. So August, maybe? Who knows?
Yeah. Dude, come back down to Jersey, man. I miss our, like, when me and Nick went to school together, and every time we would drive down from Albany, New York, down to Jersey, where we live, man, you showed me some good music. Definitely a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Hopefully it stuck with you, bud.
Yeah, most part, yeah. Tim, man, dude, it looks beautiful out there. I'm definitely jealous.
Dude, sorry if it's cold in New Jersey. My parents are up there.
Where in Jersey?
Northwest Jersey. Yeah.
Nice.
My sister's having a baby, so sometime this week. So it'll be the pandemic baby, I guess. But thanks for putting this together, Patrick. You can find me on Instagram at Tim Strings. And I'm going to be releasing that short film, and then also working on a trade school for string players. That's called Trek Trades. So that's kind of the big project, but Tim Strings is pretty much where I'm at.
That's crazy. Dude, I'm really excited. I mean, this is a weird thing to be excited about, but I was thinking about this earlier while I was asleep. Like like a bunch of babies, like ever since Elon Musk named his baby like X-A-12, I'm like, I can't wait. I cannot wait for like these kids to become athletes and like have crazy jerseys with like numbers already on it. It's gonna be a really awesome time for babies with weird names, man. Curt, man, where can people find you, brother?
Hey, man, I just want to say thank you, Patrick, for having me on and having all of us on. And thank you to the Eventide family. For me, it's a pleasure to be a part of such an amazing company, and you guys be such a major part of my live playing and production. So thank you for just helping me, over the years. I'm superly grateful for it for sure. And thanks for having me. And thanks for allowing us to inspire everyone. That's what we're all here for as musicians and creators, to just, like inspire everyone in general in life, and then especially during this time. So hopefully everyone watching, they're inspired, and they've learned something, and we're going to figure out how to get through this together. But you can find me at CurtChambers.com, CurtChambers, CurtChambers.com, and then all the socials are on their Instagram and Twitter and all that. So stay in touch, and everybody, keep your head up.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Your Twitter's Curt the Rock Boy, right?
I don't know why I did that. Oh, God, I wish I can change that. It's so hard to find my Twitter yet, because it's not Curt Chambers. It's Curt the Rock Boy. So if anyone wants to find me there, but that wasn't really wise. I don't know. Can you change that after a while? Or that's just what it is, right?
Do you know if there's any like Twitter accounts at Curt Chambers? Is that like a thing that someone else made? Because if
I don't know, I shouldn't have did it. I don't know. Well, yeah, I made that mistake, but yeah, that's what it is.
And Kyle, where can people find you, brother?
Well, Instagram's probably the easiest place. I'm at the Violin Vagabond. Doing all sorts of stuff in quarantine, all these collabs and videos. I got people playing my arrangements. It's a fun place to be. I'm actually doing a transcription Tuesday every week where I transcribe somebody that's a friend of mine. So who knows, maybe some of you guys will start popping up on there.
Nice.
But yeah, that, or my website is KylePudenz.com. My last name's Pudenz. You can get at me there if you want to contract the one-man orchestra for something.
Heck yeah. Why wouldn't you want a one-man orchestra? I want a one-man orchestra for every day.
That's what I'm saying. Quarantine discount, man.
Like, Kyle, I'm about to eat dinner. I need a score, man. Yeah, baby, I got you. Again, thank you guys so much for joining. It was such an inspiring talk. I mean, all these questions are like personal questions that I genuinely wanted to know the answers to, you know, like as an artist too. And knowing you guys is just such a treat and an honor. So thank you guys so much for joining. And
Thanks,
please,
Pat.
Thanks, Patrick.
Patrick, you.
and
Tyler and a gentleman.
yeah. And please let's stay in touch. Even beyond this, it would be cool to catch up again sometime.
Absolutely.
Right on, guys. Stay safe,
Nice
guys.
to meet you guys.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.